Tattoos on her titties, scars on her arms. Steve was the rock no one could compare. Mike's trying to take over, the podcast's at risk. The regulars try to hold it, but Steve's the fix. Without Steve, they're lost, their guide's gone astray. They'll miss his smile, his laughter, his everyday. What will they do without Steve Jessup? He kept them strong, held them up. Tattoos on her titties, scars on her arms. What will they do without Steve Jessup? Mike's trying to step in, but he's not the same. His words are cold, his jokes just aren't the same. They'll miss Steve's laugh, his love for the game. Without him, it's hard, they can't replace. Without Steve, they're lost, their guide's gone astray. They'll miss his smile, his laughter, his everyday. What will they do without Steve Jessup? He kept them strong, held them up. Tattoos on her titties, scars on her arms. What will they do without Steve Jessup?
And a wonderful good Monday morning to you all. This is Producer Mike. Let's get this turd started, shall we? This is your Monday morning movement. And why don't we get started by wishing a very happy birthday to Nola Travel. Nola Travel is turning something today. Isn't that outstanding? Anyway, Crawlfaced and I are going to be bringing you well, I wouldn't say it's a topic-filled show, but we do have a couple things we want to go through. And one of those topics is the syndrome, exploding head syndrome. About 20% of you out there suffer from this, and most of you are women. But Crawlfaced and I are going to talk about that. But here's a short video to first give you a little taste of what it exactly is.
Exploding head syndrome is a type of sleep disorder in which you hear a loud noise or an explosive crashing sound in your head as you're trying to fall asleep. The sound isn't heard by anyone else, and it typically lasts less than a second. Fortunately, it isn't dangerous, but it certainly can be alarming. The episode typically happens suddenly, either when you're beginning to fall asleep at night or when you're falling back to sleep after awakening during the night. Now, it isn't clear what causes this abrupt sound, but it has been associated with sleep deprivation, stress, and some substances such as too much alcohol.
Oh, that's right. At least she didn't say weed. We will get into it. Exploding head syndrome on the morning movement. Let's see. We do have a co-host, don't we? I believe it is the one and the only Crawlfaced. Can you believe it? We're going to transition right over. The main man. What is up, Crawlface? Good morning to you. Hey, thanks for getting up early.
Good Monday morning, producer Mike. It is 10:05 in the Eastern, and I'm not gonna lie, I've been getting up in the noon to 1 p.m. range lately. It's been the summer of George, I'll tell you.
That's
Um,
right. Now, I was going to ask you this right at the top. I got it right here in my notes. I've announced on when we were doing the Jessup show that I'm a full-blown retiree. You have kind of slipped into that temporarily. You lost your damn job.
I did. So I'm not upset about it after 22 years with a company I was at. I was unceremoniously downsized. But you know what? I did very well with the package that they provided me, and I'm having quite the hell of a summer, man. Going to Universal Studios to Super Nintendo World.
Oh,
Probably gonna
cool.
do some shrooms when I'm there, you know. Um, but yeah, it's gonna be a good time.
All right. So Universal, so that's obviously kind of a family trip. Do you got anything planned for, just the so I know you and the wife kind of do separate vacations and then you do a couple that you are together just for your fun stuff. You got anything planned there?
We will be visiting family in Connecticut. I believe this year's vacation will probably be a Christmas cruise, so that'll be the family
Family
vacay, and
side.
then I'm
Okay.
gonna do the do over in Thailand in about 3 weeks.
That's right. You
So
had you had a planned trip and then you suffered cardiac arrest. Is that about right?
I had a heart attack. I did not have cardiac arrest. My heart never
Oh,
stopped,
okay.
so I did not have to get zapped. All good. At first, thought I had a piece of sausage lodged in my hat.
Yeah.
But no, it
Wouldn't be
was
the
my
first
first
time.
heart attack. Hopefully, we don't have a baker's dozen. Hopefully, that's it. We're doing better. We're just
Cool.
we're gonna cut down on going out.
Now I would, and I did bring this up to you when I first heard you lost your job, because though I'm sure a lot of people in your circle, gave you the appropriate sympathy that you deserve. I mean, it sucks, man, especially in this economy to lose your job. However, I was on the different side of the coin. I was psyched that you lost your job because you would be able to spend more time doing things like this. As a matter of fact, the only reason why we're doing this turd, as it were, is because you're not doing shit right now.
No more conference calls, baby. It's time to wake and bake.
Cool. All right. Yeah, well, I might as well. Cheers, everybody. Take a little social. Anyway, speaking of socials, a couple of my two of my favorite humans are the Bucklins. Now they're not watching because they've said in no uncertain terms that yeah, they're gone, and that's
They
okay.
were here for Steve. They weren't here for us.
No, please, and I have no reservations at all that folks who are tuning into this are just praying to God Steve shows up. And I can tell you on one of these morning movements, we will get a Steve Jessup appearance. I just don't know when. If anyone asks, I will totally deny that. But um, the Bucklins are still near dear to all of our hearts, and Jeremy actually still keeps in touch, Dave. He'll text me from time to time, and they have what I have affectionately called Jeremy and Jen's summer project. Now, the fans of the show, the podcast, the Jessup Show podcast, will know that Jeremy is a bit of a green thumb when it comes to um, growing certain things in his backyard. And well, I mean, take a look at that little nugget right there, Dave.
I'll tell you. It's they grow up so fast, don't they? You look at these like they're your children. And I mean, this one's slightly bigger than a PBR at this point, but I know we've seen in the past that Jeremy's been able to hide behind some of these. So it's my hope that that this is going to grow up to be a very lovely, very wonderful plant that can be enjoyed by many.
Yeah, well, it's certainly on its way there. I'm not sure when it was necessarily planted right into the ground. However, these are adorable. Yeah, I mean, it looks like he's got maybe four of them in this shot, but it does fade off there a little bit in the middle. Um, Man, he's giving them plenty of room for sure, huh?
Oh yeah, I mean they're gonna blossom and just get a whole lot of texture. They're gonna poof out. Man, I'll tell you, one of these days we got to get over to. Oh, there they go. Looks like it's filling in nicely. But we got to go visit the Bucklands at some point and
Well,
sample some of the goods.
listen, you know how I'm always, and it's going to be the topic of one of our future shows. I'm not sure if it's going to be Wednesday or Friday of this week, but certainly in the coming weeks, of planning out vacations that are on the inexpensive side, right? That don't not going to cost you a whole lot of dough, right? So if you can get a deal with an airline, or maybe you already have a relationship, same thing with hotel or something like that. And then you go to a certain destination. I'm always a big fan of going to a place, perhaps in a state that I haven't been to, legal weed, and getting a nice hotel room that's walking distance to a quality dispensary. Um, that's a long weekend for me. I mean, that's a vacation.
See no fault in that. I usually like to make sure on my vacations that I'm somewhere near some sort of eating venue, if you will, whether it be a really good all you can eat buffet, a sushi joint, even, a Benihana that's got some sort of a show, entertain me. So,
Okay.
yeah, I mean, I feel like that's legal weed, decent hotel room, and a place to eat.
Now I've been to Colorado before, and I've actually been to Denver. But Denver is like Denver checks all the boxes because you can fly right in, right? There's hotels, restaurants, dispensaries all over the place, and it's just a matter of going to your favorite AI, ChatGPT, Grok, and just asking, "Hey, this is all the stuff I want to do while I'm in Denver, and I want to be able to walk to these particular places. If I can't, just kind of get me to the closest distance. You know, you got to get an Uber in there once or twice. That's fine." Because Dave, Crawlface, you and I have even talked about it. We were thinking Denver, and then we could catch like a Colorado Rockies game. I hear they're excellent this year.
I absolutely feel like that would be a good thing. I have not followed baseball this year. I would be very surprised if the Rockies were actually a good team, but what do I know? The last time I followed the Colorado Rockies, Larry Walker played. So
Oh, there
it's
you go.
it's been a hot minute. I think he's retired in the Hall of Fame at this
I think he is. I think you're right.
point.
But you're right. Visiting the Bucklands would be a huge call. And what I was thinking is it can't be all that expensive to spend a few nights, 4 nights at the campground that Jen works at. I mean, they've got these luxury cabins that look like they're just absolutely banging. I would love to spend 3 or 4 days there. Maybe we can't fit it in this year, but maybe definitely next year. That would be sweet.
Look, I'm all for it. Don't forget, Buckland lives 2 hours from me,
No
so it's a
shit. Was
car
that
ride for
close?
me. Yeah.
Oh, I did.
It's like it might be 2:05. It's literally here. The closest airport to Bucklands is probably Charlotte, which is like 30-35 minutes from my house.
No kidding.
So, from the
I didn't know that.
airport to Bucklands, it's roughly 2 hours.
That is insane.
So I'm in.
Well, we'll put that on the docket.
We can have the
This was
Tesla
the
drive.
the money shot here. He's telling us it's 7 feet tall
Oh,
now. Yeah.
oh, look at that.
It doesn't look
That's
like
just
it's looks like it's a little bit away from flowering, but it's still July, right? It's not going to
yeah,
start
it's a little
flowering.
early.
Yeah, a little early. But yeah.
We should probably ask Lando about that. He's the resident weed genius. Oh, look at
Cheers.
Jeremy and Jen.
Yep.
They are
Cheers to the Buckmans.
absolutely a lovely couple, but I will say this, Jeremy looks so young in this picture. He looks like he hasn't had years at the CIA of covert missions that have put him, close to death, right? He looks like he has a lot to live for. Granted, I would probably look that happy if I had a 7-foot tall weed plant too, but what do I know?
Yeah, well, yeah. That's I don't know if I'd put it exactly like that, but the sentiment
Here, I'll,
is
I'll,
well
I'll do one
taken.
for you, Bucklands.
All right. Well, Dave, I'm sure you were watching and listening at the top of the show
The name's
when
Crawlfaced.
crap, Crawlfaced. Why does it say it's because it says it on Streamlabs? It's coming in for I got to stop reading. I'm going to put a piece of tape over it. Um, So, Crawl, we played a little video at the top, which was kind of explaining what exploding head syndrome is. What I did not mention is that I am what would be called a chronic sufferer of this syndrome. In other words, I got it bad. I suffer from this. I get symptoms of it every single night. Actually, every single night and every single day, because I generally go down for a nap for a little bit, and same thing happens. Um, but anyway, the video was pretty spot on. Um, for me, it is certainly a loud noise. I don't necessarily hear an explosion. What I hear, and some of you new age fans from the 80s um, may recall this song, "Wishing." If I had a photograph by a flock of seagulls. That song starts off with basically a drum machine, and then it comes in with this very obnoxious, very tinny, thick, tinny ring, ring, ring as part of the wonderful melody. It's a 10 out of a 10 song. If you have never heard it, please go to YouTube and listen to it. It's phenomenal. But that sound is essentially what I hear. And it is on 11. It is so loud, it jars me awake. And it generally happens 2 or 3 times before I finally can get to sleep. But it sucks. It royally sucks.
I feel for you, Mike. It sounds absolutely terrible, but I think, a lot of people probably are like, I know exactly what that feels like, right? Because we've all been woken up from sleep because the smoke detector went off, somebody's car alarm went off, whatever it may be, right? There's probably 1,000 reasons why we've all woken up. But I don't know what this truly feels like. So from that standpoint, I know what it feels like to be woken up, completely suddenly, whatever, and you don't know which end is up. But to have that recur, are there other symptoms that go along with it? Like, do you have a loose rear, sphincter trapdoor, if you will? Because if I had this, I would likely wake up to a morning movement in the bed, right? Like it would really be a situation that you're doing laundry.
That's a great question. I you know what? When it happens later today, I will try to make a mental note to see what the condition of my, I'm sorry, not condition, but the status of my sphincter is. If I'm more of in a clenching mode or holy crap, we're going to evacuate because, fight or flight at that point. Um, but no, it's generally just the noise. And I have gone a little bit into REM sleep, I think, because I have had the sensation of falling, like like literally tripped over the curb and you're going face first into the sidewalk where, you know, in reality you would flinch, make sure your arms were in front of you, protect your face. Same kind of thing. I wake up doing the the same kind of movements with it's just accompanied with an incredibly large sounding boom of sorts.
I've had that happen when I do edibles. There was one time I was
Hmm.
laying on the bed and it felt like I was falling through the bed. I don't know if I was going to hell. I mean, that's a distinct possibility, but I was falling, but that was drug induced. So,
Yeah. Well,
do you find,
yeah.
speaking of drug induced, do you find that the use of cannabis quiets the exploding head syndrome, makes it worse? What
Well, as we heard from Dr. Kimberly Hutchinson, who I don't know if you saw her title next to her name, but she's a maphasm,
isn't that a
ma
disease?
maphasm.
Maphasm? I don't know. I feel like you don't want a case of the maphasm.
I can't bring it back up, unfortunately. But Dr. Kimberly, visit her on YouTube. That's actually the name of her channel, Dr. Kimberly Hutchinson. She's a sleep specialist. She knows about disorders and whatnot. But she did mention that alcohol would be something that um, could affect it, along with other substances. As soon as she said that, I really didn't want to look it up just in case
So you've
because,
stopped drinking then, right? To make this better? If alcohol affects it, right? Like you
well,
don't you don't drink anymore?
I don't. It's not that I cut out drinking, but yeah, I drink so infrequently now that I'm willing to roll the dice with it, once or twice a week. I used to do it on the show. I was drinking basically every show, and that was basically the only time I would drink during the week. That'd be that's my party day. Saturdays sucked, but what are you gonna do?
Hey man, it's party time now. Let's get after it.
Hell yeah, hell yeah. But yeah, so if weed causes or at least it contributes to it, I don't want to know. But I will say that my syndrome predates my weed smoking years. I started smoking when I was essentially 16, 17 years old, and I've had this as long as back as I can remember. So,
Do
um,
do your dreams ever line up with that? Like,
oh, I
do
was
you
just
wake up
literally, yeah, I was.
hearing something that you believe you heard in a dream? Like, is it gunshots? Is it jet engines from your time, in the Air Force? Like, what are we
it,
talking about? Does
it's
that ever
it's
translate?
it's it's generally right when I'm falling asleep at the very beginning. Once I am asleep, um, not so much waking up that way. Um, I usually got to take a piss. That'll I'm usually on a every 4 or 5 hour schedule on that anyway. Um,
They
but
say that happens once you turn 40, man. The everything I've
yeah,
started that. I know you're no longer in your 40s, but I've also started the waking up in the middle of the night to take a leak.
yeah. So yeah, so again, so I'm generally asleep after I go to sleep, but again, I two or three. It's average is two. I'll get a zinger, and I know it's coming. It's almost like I know it's coming because you get into that. You lay down, you're gonna go to sleep. You can, and then there's just that phase that you're still conscious about, but it's just like, oh, my body just got a little bit more relaxed. And it's right in that zone where I'll even be conscious of it in the sense that I'm like, yeah, I think it's about to happen. And sure enough,
Can you
it's
prepare yourself for it, or just
no.
it?
There's no like. Well, I was going to go into a couple more things. There's nothing really else you can do. That it's auditory hallucination. Um, and it's when you're falling asleep. And I guess some folks experience at the end of their sleep cycle when they're waking up, but I don't necessarily I don't recall ever that happening to me. Um, the noise may be frightening. It is. It is frightening. Typically occurs only occasionally. It is not a serious health concern, thank God. People, okay, this is what you were alluding to. People may also experience a flash of light. So in other words, are you conscious whether it's a dream or not, do you see something, or do you remember seeing something? I do remember seeing that sidewalk. When I thought I was tripping and falling, I that's exactly what the scenario was. So I do remember a
Woke up feeling like
sidewalk.
you're gonna lose your teeth.
Yeah, exactly, exactly. But again, it was right at the beginning. It was right at the beginning where most people, like, I'm not going to look it up right now, but I think the earliest you can enter REM sleep after you start into your sleep cycle. I thought it was like a half an hour or 45 minutes, something like that. Dude, I'm hitting REM in like 10 minutes. That doesn't seem to be a problem. But the exploding head syndrome, here are some other names for it: episodic cranial sensory shock, snapping of the brain. Oh, snapping of the brain. When I was doing my research on this, there was a physician. He was a French philosopher. His name was Rene Descartes, and in
Descartes.
1691, that's when it was first. Looks like it was first described. So in, like, written down and described. But snapping of the brain, that was actually coined in 1920 by British physician and psychiatrist Robert Armstrong Jones. It was later named exploding head syndrome, and it wasn't until 1989. So I was wondering why I'd never heard of it. It really didn't have like an official name, because snapping of the brain is not even um, well, it's not necessarily needed to be capitalized, I guess. But exploding head syndrome, I mean, they actually gave it a name in 1989.
When you first told me about it, I really wanted it to be some form of spontaneous combustion. I hate to say that I'm disappointed, but I feel like there should be a lot of torsos around with no heads attached to them because they exploded. But, I can understand that they're articulating this as exploding head syndrome because the sound that you hear may not be dissimilar from an explosion, not that your head is actually exploding.
Actually, I apologize to everyone. I should have moved on to this screen. I'm moving back and forth with everything. We've got Jeremy and Jen being the poster child for children for exploding head syndrome. Um, but yeah, snapping of the brain, auditory sleep start sounds about right. Um, differential nocturnal epilepsy. Oh shit! Look at that. I'm just like the Colonel.
You better be careful about that.
Did it
You don't want to draw his ire.
hypnic? I'll have to look that up later. Says headache diagnosis headaches. I don't get any headaches. I haven't fallen, at least not in reality, because of it. So I haven't banged my head on anything. Nightmare disorder. If you want to consider tripping and falling onto the pavement a nightmare, I guess.
I mean, I would say it's
Um,
not a good dream.
no, no, I wouldn't say it's. Yeah, yeah. I don't think people are writing that down as a favorable one. PTSD is listed here. I tell you what, I'm borderline with the amount of times I've had to put up with it, but no, I don't think I've got PTSD. Yeah, I don't know,
I,
man.
I feel like as a veteran, you have PTSD. If anybody ever asks you, you just say yes, in the hopes that maybe there's going to be some sort of a government benefit for that at the very least,
Okay,
right?
so are
Like,
you suggesting that I engage in fraud? Is that essentially what you're saying, Crawlfaced? Because that's
oh, I
not.
if you ever develop it, you should start saying things about it now. That way you could prove you had it for a while. Just prepping for the
Yeah,
future.
I think I'm good, man. I've got United Healthcare, though they are going right through the ringer these days. I got out of the stock employee plan way early, so yeah, I'm doing all right. You know, when I turn 75, things may change, But right now things are fine. Crawlfaced. I don't need the government. I don't need no stinking government handout.
I'm just saying I don't plan on living to 75.
Yeah, well, I've seen a lot of your behavior, and I think you're right. All
I
right,
would
my man.
I
Well, go ahead. I'm
subprime
sorry.
risk. Subprime risk, man. That's me.
Well, you've had a heart
Live
attack.
hard.
You've got
Got
other
some
things that
diabetes.
you had some of the diabetes. There you go. You've got some
Yeah.
psoriasis of the skin I've seen from time to time there. Isn't there a wound on your leg that just won't heal? You got a couple of those.
No.
Oh, okay.
No. That has happened. I've got
Hmm.
MRSA before. That was a good time. But
You got gout?
yeah,
You have any of the gout?
I do have the gout. I get it occasionally. I got the my good buddy Arthur-itis. He shows up and hangs out with me pretty often.
Okay. And
So
what's
I
that
have
all about?
medical ailments.
Oh, medical
Right.
ailments. Got it. All right.
Yeah. The fingers sometimes they get a little, every now and again you'll do the hard rip and you kind of do one of these, or sometimes we do this, we get the palsy a little bit.
All right.
Um
You know what?
but yeah,
Crawlfaced. I think we had a wonderful, wonderful first Monday morning movement. Um, hey, man, I really appreciate coming aboard and joining me for this little. Listen, we're going to try to do this for at least a couple of months. We'll go through August, probably a few weeks into September, and we'll see how it goes. Um, if none of y'all are watching and hate the shorts, screw it. We'll dump it. But, dude. I think we knocked it out of the park. What do you think?
let's just say it's not the biggest turd I've seen on YouTube.
All right. Hey, thanks everybody. Enjoy. Appreciate you hanging out, and we will see you on Wednesday. So we're going to be doing a Monday, Wednesday, Friday morning movements here. So we'll see you in a couple of days. We hope you have an outstanding week. Crawlface, you got anything you want to part the ways with folks?
I know you guys want me to do it, but it's 10:30 in the morning. I'm not doing it today. There will be going out in the future, just not today. Not today. Have a pleasant Monday. Enjoy your week, and I think smoke weed every day.
Smoke weed every day.